What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Optimus Games, and with the release of Apex Legends, I felt inspired to make a top 10 tricks video, or a top 10 tips and tricks video, whatever you want to call it, because I've been enjoying the game, and I've been learning a lot about it that I think would be very helpful to share, and things that I guess just used really to get more wins, and overall to just get better at the game, okay? Now these are things that some of them are going to be a little bit more self-explanatory, and some of them I guess you can kind of understand because it's been things that you would know from other Battle Royale games, but since there's a lot of features and things like that in Apex Legends that you're not going to see in other Battle Royale games, it's good that we have a video like this, that way you can understand a few things that are different and you know exactly what to look for. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into tip number 1. You need to learn this map, okay? Now, I am going to go ahead and have a link to this map over on Twitter, so you can save it, retweet it, whatever you want to do with it. That way you have a more permanent copy of it, but this map is going to give you a great understanding of where to get the best loot in the game, okay? Unlike other games like Fortnite, where all the loot is pretty much just randomly generated and the best guns can be virtually anywhere, Apex Legends has influence of rarities and things like that by the locations on the map. So the places in purple will spawn the most high-tier loot, including armor, attachments, and weapons that are going to get you off on the right foot. You're going to see these blue locations. These are the mid-tier loot locations where you're going to get guns that you can really start off well with, and it's going to be probably your first sets of armor that are going to at least carry you through the middle of the game, but you're definitely going to want better loot than what you're getting out of these spots, especially going into late game. And these gray locations are kind of just areas where the bare minimum is going to spawn mostly ammo. You're probably going to get a few pistols, things like that. You're not going to get anything great most of the time in these spots. If you can get a good understanding of where you're going to be getting the best loot and you can plan your jumps accordingly with that knowledge, you're going to have a much easier route through the beginning and middle of the game where maybe getting that high tier loot is going to give you a much bigger advantage over people who haven't learned this map. Personally, my favorite spots on the map to go right off the rip are Airbase, Thunderdome, and Cascades. With Airbase, you're going to notice that within that immediate vicinity, you're going to have 4 locations that are going to spawn the best loot more often. Bunker, the pit, runoff, and of course, Airbase itself. To the south, you have a no-name location that spawns mid-tier loot as well. So when landing here, not only are you going to get some pretty good loot most of the time, probably a little bit of competition as well, but you're going to have better chances of scoring that great loot by just going to surrounding spots, maybe even picking up a few kills here and there. You're going to get some pretty good loot off that. But like I said, you should be warned, with so much going on in this particular area and with more people becoming more aware of this map and learning it, these areas are going to become more heavily populated. Airbase is already pretty popular, at least in my experience, but this whole area is pretty underrated. These other 3 locations that aren't Airbase are once again great spots to get really good loot. Some of them are going to become more popular, but as of right now, they're all pretty much fair game for people who at least know what they're doing. Thunderdome is another one of these great spots just because, yes, there is high tier loot, but there is also 3 surrounding spots that have mid-tier loot, so no matter basically where you go, you're going to run into some decent loot and make progress inland towards that circle. But Cascades is not a high tier spot. It is a mid-tier spot that is heavily populated a lot of the time, but that does mean you're going to get a lot more action off the get-go, and on top of that, there are a lot of buildings in that spot to loot, and it's pretty close to the center of the map and has 2 respawn beacons in pretty close range to pick up your teammates. So it's a spot for people who want to make sure that they get the most action possible, maybe not living most of the time, or even some of the time if you're better, but you are going to be closer to the center of the circle, so you can go pretty much wherever the circle goes a lot easier, and you're also going to have a little bit of good loot as well. Number 2 is you need to understand the Titanfall movement system. This movement system is going to be something that newer players are going to struggle with at first, as the controls and the movement are a bit intimidating, but if you play Titanfall 2, you're going to be a little bit more adept, but overall, you're going to come to realize that the movement is fluid and it can mean a lot of different ways for you to do things. First off, you slide pretty well in Apex Legends. If you're going downhill, instead of running down that hill like you might in, say, Blackout or some other game like that, just go ahead and slide down there and go faster. You will keep sliding as long as you have momentum. You're going to be a faster target, so say if someone's sitting across and they're trying to snipe you, it's going to be a lot harder because you're going faster and you're a smaller target due to that crouch. There's a lot of benefits to it. Also on top of that, you can run up walls and vertically climb them depending on how high they are, which will allow you quick maneuvers around buildings and other areas if need be. If someone's chasing you, you're really weak, you can just climb that wall, get up on another story of a building, maybe get a second to heal, or even have a vantage point over that person. Unlike Titanfall games, however, you don't have actual wall running or anything like that in this game, so it is more grounded and understandable to newer players who aren't, fans of the Titanfall series. But when sprinting and taking in all of these different movement styles, you're going to need a little bit of time to get used to it. However, once you do get used to it, you've automatically got a huge advantage, as most people playing Apex Legends probably never played Titanfall 2 and will still be learning these things over time. Take the time to get it down and it's going to help you out. Number 3 is to try out all the heroes and to develop a consistent playstyle. The game is team-based and can currently only be played in squads, so you need to find out a playstyle that's going to suit you the best. There's medics, you can be a moving radar with Bloodhound, you can be Banglador who calls in airstrikes and can destroy squads with those, who can also call in smoke screens and help teammates out. These are things you're going to need to learn so you can become more consistent as a player, and it's better if you and your friends or your teammates decide who's going to main what in order to keep this easier on you guys, and just to make you a better player overall. Number 4 is to figure out your looting system, the rarity system, and the ammo types. These are things that you will see in other battle royales, of course, like in Blackout you have rarities and ammo types, in Fortnite you've got ammo types and rarities and all these other things too, so it's nothing like really foreign, but it's not exactly the same, so it's best that you take the time to try and learn those and make sure that you've got that down. This is something I'm currently also trying to learn through. I often will just pick up whatever in case, but this can be some things that cripple you mid-game when you're possibly going from those lower tier loots to the high tier items and trying to stock up on ammo. You need to learn your ammo types and what kind that your guns will use so you can keep your inventory clean for meds and shields and other things like attachments. That way you don't have to do that late game when you're going to be trying to focus on winning. Armors and helmets and all these things also have rarities to them. That's something you will see in other battle royales. It's not too foreign. It's just something you're going to have to get used to in this specific game. But knowing these things will save you a headache and will automatically give you an advantage, as hopefully you're going to have more of the ammo you need, more of your meds, more of your shields, better armor, and a full understanding of how to manage that inventory. On top of that, learning to do it quickly is going to be key, as you don't want to just be standing in place exposed, so make sure you also practice that. Number 5 is to learn when to use your abilities and your ultimate moves. The worst thing about playing with these random teammates is sometimes they don't use these things to their advantage. These are all things that can help you wipe squads, but can also save your squad from being wiped. If you use your meds or your healing right, or if you use your shields, or if you use your artilleries, things like that, you're going to need to learn how to use these. These kinds of things are going to become huge if you want to try and deal with enemies the proper way, so learning to do it when it's the most appropriate, that's going to be something huge. These aren't something you can just use at will. You need to make sure you strategize when to use them because they take time to recharge. Learning to use them when they're the most effective not only will help you get more kills, but will also keep you alive longer and possibly lead to more wins. Number 6 is to take advantage of the coordination system in Apex Legends. I mean, this game is blessing us with a system that allows you to pretty much give any call out necessary even if you don't have a microphone. You can spot enemies hundreds of meters away, you can ping loot for teammates to pick up, you can call out locations, you can ping where you want to drop, and so much more. If you play solos like myself, this becomes super clutch, and is something that you have to learn if you want to put out a fight with random players. If you're going to join in and squad solo like myself, people don't usually talk on the mics because they don't know who you are, so you go ahead and use these callouts and it's going to be super helpful. You need to get used to that. Even if you have a mic and teammates, it's still useful. You don't want to lose because you don't want to tap a button. Number 7 is to try to get some teammates. If you're playing solo altogether, which I know a lot of you are, even though there is no solo queuing, I know that these are all rumored, oh my god, solos and everything's coming, they're all rumored, but they're not here yet. Why wait to become better at the game? Get some teammates, have more fun, more coordination, and a much better shot at winning games. The game is free, it just eclipsed 10 million unique players in 72 hours. You have plenty of people to go play with. Go get some friends online, and it's going to make the game a lot easier for you if you're currently trying to run solo in these squad playlists. Number 8 is to avoid finishing moves unless you 100% know for sure that it is safe to pull them off. If you're in the middle of a squad fight and you drop someone on the first floor of a building and you do that finishing move, there is a solid chance you are not going to finish that move alive, okay? People can run right up behind you and just destroy you, and there isn't really anything you can do about it. You can't cancel, at least from my knowledge. If you can, even then you're already in a horrible situation. When you do these cool moves to taunt people that you've killed, you are putting yourself in danger, and at the end of the day, a couple bullets or a few melee hits will do the same trick for you while allowing you to stay in the fight with others. Number 9 is to learn your guns and what you like. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of any of the SMGs. I feel like they absolutely eat through ammo and they can be harder to use than any other gun, really. Plus, I prefer the damage that long-range weapons like assault rifles, LMGs, and things like that put out in comparison, but my favorite guns so far have to be the Peacekeeper shotgun, the Spitfire LMG, the Hemlock AR, the Wingman pistol, god, that's my favorite gun, and the Triple Take sniper rifle. These are the guns I've used the most and I've become the most familiar with, and weapons like the Peacekeeper shotgun and that Wingman are absolutely lethal if you're accurate enough to hit your shots. They've got, I think, headshot multipliers on both of them, but overall you're going to have to determine what guns you like and can play with the best and start trying to get those guns as often as possible. This is something you have to do in pretty much every game, but it's something that a lot of people, I think, are already overlooking. Number 10 is you need to learn when and when not to act on certain things. I know there's a lot of people who they see an enemy ahead of them about to get over the horizon of that hill, and they just unleash a whole magazine trying to wipe up a kill, but in a game like Apex, that isn't the best move. With your abilities and these ultimates and things like that, you could just be setting yourself into a trap and wasting your things like your weapons and your ammo at that. Next thing you know, after making those shots and you push up and try to get the kill over the hill, yeah, guess what? You got that artillery barrage and it's just destroying you. All because you were impatient, or you walk up and they've already got a shield set up and there's a whole team waiting on you right there with their protection. Or maybe they had a healer who dropped down his little robot who healed the whole team, and guess what? You're now facing 3 full health people while at the same time having to reload your weapon, and basically it's over for you. I know it's hard for some people to admit that this is a problem that they have. I used to have this problem too, but I've tried to curb back on it. But it's something that if you want to become a good player and you want to actually become decent at games like Apex Legends, you're just going to have to understand. Another thing you need to learn is how to quickly and quietly track enemies, aka using your callouts instead of your bullets. Waiting for an opportunity to flank or even get easy shots on someone up close is the best opportunity usually that you can get. The closer you can get in most situations, especially with these abilities and also with the callouts and your teammates and things like that, it's going to be better for you. You need to learn when and when not to rush more efficiently. I mean, you don't want to chase one guy into a building and you're all the way away from your team, and next thing you know, there's a full team of them waiting in every corner of the room. You're basically in a 1v3 and you're going to get destroyed pretty much every single time. You need to learn to use things in situations like that, like frag grenades, pop doors open, throw those in there, put out some damage if that's the case. If you can weaken a whole team, usually it's a lot easier to face those situations. But these are things you're going to have to actively think about. That's what I really enjoy about Battle Royales. They make you think on the fly because there's so many different unpredictable situations. Things like this are going to be things that you have to think about as you're going, unless you give yourself the time to think about these things and process it a little bit more by deciding to not engage, which is something that it's something you're going to have to learn. If you just learn a little bit more strategy, you learn what you're doing, you basically take in all these other tips, most of the time you're going to be a lot better off. You just got to exercise your patience and make sure that you're learning these things. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is my first tips and tricks video on this channel. It is also my first Apex Legends tips and tricks video. I don't know how many more of these I'll be doing, if any. It's something that I enjoy doing, but if it's something that you guys don't want to see, I'm not going to continue to do them, because these are videos that I'm making to help other people and to try and help other people at least, you know, kind of get a concept really on how to play the game. So if you guys aren't enjoying them and basically they're just sitting here for my enjoyment, that doesn't really help anybody, doesn't really make sense to make them. So let me know what you think about this down below, guys. If you have any personal tips or anything you'd like to share with other new players, you know, you can drop those down in the comments too. I'll be reading through them. I'll be favoriting some of them if I think that they're actually really good and that they're things that I didn't really cover up on. I hope you guys are enjoying Apex Legends. I know that I am. I think it's a pretty good game, especially for a free-to-play Battle Royale. It's pretty solid, I gotta say. So you can expect more Apex Legends content on this channel, along with my regular Call of Duty content and other things like that. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're brand new around here. I will be doing more content. Make sure to also share this video with your friends that you play Apex Legends with. Make sure your whole squad's getting better. Follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates, along with other things that I learn and you know, think about the game, really. So it's a great place to keep updated and also get some more tips and things like that. Join the Discord down below. Lots of great things going on there. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, playing some Apex Legends, and signing out.